name is Sheila Beck, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I have been watching Discovery. I almost said I've been watching Star Trek Discovery, and yes, I understand the title card says Star Trek, Discovery. I understand it says that, and it's got like the Star Trek, Starfleet logo on it, and like starships and things that you recognise from Star Trek. But for me, it's not very Star Trek. It's it just isn't. So although this episode, best one they've done this season for sure. I think probably the best one they've done since the first season. I kind of like the first 10 episodes. So I hadn't realised how awful it was until then. But this one again, they're getting close to something that's like more approximating Star Trek. I just think they've been doing it so long now. You don't want to fail, and so you kind of just like naturally feel your way out to the way things are supposed to be done. And I guess it's kind of falling into that with this episode. So this is season 3, episode 5. Oh, what's the name of the episode? Who cares? Who cares the name? They don't bloody care. The first episode they had The Hope That Is You, talking about Michael Burnham, who is God, I can't stand the character. Part 1, The Hope That Is You, Part 1. So I expected the episode would be The Hope That Is You, Part 2. That's normally what they do. No, they forgot. There is no Hope That's You, Part 2. They just like, who cares? Nothing matters. So yeah, I don't think it really matters to me either. Fine. So we're going to be talking about this episode. Before we get there though, can I ask you guys, can you hit the like button? That'd be great. Can you hit the share button? That's also great. But could you also, especially hit that subscribe button? Thank you very much. I am very, very grateful for everybody subscribing. And I am. I can't really argue. That's true. I am very grateful. If you enter, if you subscribe, you may enter. Well, you'll enter the valley, the kingdom of heaven. Obviously, I'm sure that's going to happen. But if you subscribe, you can also enter my weekly competitions. The prize this week is this Mummy double bill, the Mummy DVD collection. This has got the Mummy 2, Mummy Returns at the moment, which is the Brendan Fraser version with Rachel Weisz. First 2 movies. I don't bother with them after that. Once they start recasting people, which I think they did in the third one, forget it. Who cares? In fact, basically forget Brendan Fraser's career, I think, from the Mummy Returns till Doom Patrol, which he's freaking awesome in. But up until there, that middle bit where he's like recovering from some kind of, inappropriate assault that I was never quite clear what happened, but he was Me Too'd or something. I don't know. But look, I wish him the best. Don't get me wrong, I wish him the best. But anyway, so yeah, the mummy moves. All you need to do to win them is subscribe to the channel. Subscribe it in the comments. Leave the hashtag Imhotep. That's IMHOTEP. Go check the video notes right down there. You can just copy and paste it into the comments, and you will be into the win. I think the prize draw is on the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd, when I'll be on the TARDIS zone. Fine. Let's talk about this episode of Discovery, shall we? So, as I said, it's not a terrible episode. It's getting kind of closer to space opera drama. It's not feeling so like lost at sea with that anymore. And again, I just think so they've been doing it for a couple of years. They kind of worked out, by osmosis, roughly what they should be doing. It's almost certainly too little, too late. I think they've alienated. The normie audience has zero interest in it. The reason they have zero interest is because it's fundamentally a feminine show. And feminine people who we used to be able to call women, feminine people are generally speaking not that interested in science fiction. I understand. I hear a lot of people go, "Oh my God, he said." Yeah, it also happens to be true. Okay, I'm sorry. This is a demographic reality of the world. I'm not even talking about if it's like inherent characteristics or if it's a learned characteristic of between the genders. It just is. So I think that's basically. So the normie audience is not interested anyway. Any races we get for this has been diabolical. Just the this hardcore fan audience is still there because they love Star Trek, and I think the hardcore ideologues. But there aren't that many of them, and it's just not that much of a popular success. So it's getting better. It's just again too little, too late. That's really where I think they are. So fine, this episode starts. At last, they have found the Federation. They've been looking for the Federation. They jumped to the future. Federation has vanished. This thing called the burn happened that stopped, made all the dilithium blow up or something. So there's no interstellar travel. They've been looking for the Federation. They found a trill. That used to be 2 lifetimes ago, which was about 2 years ago, from what I can tell. In the body of a Starfleet admiral, and who gave him the coordinates. So they go there. They found Starfleet, and Starfleet is basically a few ships living in like a giant invisible bubble, so nobody can see them and get to them because they're not very powerful anymore. So they're living in this giant invisible bubble. Discovery, of course, are all tearful, happy about making it home to Starfleet. Good for them. And Burnham is still mentally ill, wide-eyed, doing emotional swings. I was crying. Really? Is there no cure for mental illness in the 22nd century or the 29th century? That they get a little thing at the back of her neck and cure her of being completely freaking insane? No, apparently not. So as they enter Starfleet, they see some ships flying around. They're all very tearful, and we get some member bearers. We see the Voyager J. And Tilly works out there's 10 generations of ships. Heaven to Betsy. There's 10 generations of ships. We ever thought they would have done more in 1,000 years. But okay, whatever. And it's the way they do member bearers here. It's just... It's so the mirror image, the dark mirror image of the Mandalorian. Wherever they do Mandalorian, have tons of member bearers, and they just feel right and organic. Here they're just like, let's do Voyager. Yeah, okay, I remember Janeway, let's do Voyager. Okay, which I think is basically where they are right now. Picard was basically Star Trek for people who hadn't seen Next Generation and vaguely had data in it, and Picard, they must have loved each other. Let's do a thing about it. That's kind of what it was. So that's kind of the mentality. And I don't think you need real hardcore fan writing everything that knows everything. But you do need to, if you want to live in the same continuity, you just need to have a working knowledge, which it feels like they don't have. It feels like they said, let's put Voyager in it, which is what they did. So they say, they get to Starfleet Command, and they say, Burnham, Saru, and Tal, the Trill girl, should beam over. And they're all very, very excited, and they beam in, and we have the titles. We're in the titles. Thank God we're in the titles. So what's going on? So we have the title. My question with the titles is this. They change it every year slightly, and this year they put in those stupid little servo robots, which I just hate. I just hate them with every fibre of my being. Why are they in the titles? That normally means they're going to be important in some way or another. I don't know. They got the time crystals from the from the previous year. Still in the title, but okay, whatever. So why they're there? So anyway, so they're at the they go to Starfleet headquarters, and they're not having a good day, right? They're not having a good day, at Starfleet. Things are not so good, but it's okay. It's okay. Burnham is here to save the day, and that's basically the underlying theme of this episode. Thank God Burnham's here, because she's the bestest ever, and so stunning, so brave. So, seems to me for a Starfleet and Federation are now one and the same. Because I think the writers can't really work out how they were separate, right? They were one and the same, because again, there's not that many of them left. And there's this medical emergency going on. And again, Burnham here to save the day. And what I find really bizarre is you have this 800-year-old ship shows up with this incredible technology that can give you interstellar travel back, right? Which they haven't had for 120 years. I would have thought that would be a high priority. Like reverse engineering that and putting that into other ships, so you could travel in an interstellar way once again. I think that will probably be a good idea. So anyway, so they're at Starfleet. They're the 3 aliens who are dying from something. They don't know what they're dying from. Burnham is just like completely baffled by this admiral, who's a bit white male-y. So he must be a bad guy, right? He must be, even though he's a non-white. I think I'll say he's male, so that's a problem. But he's a non-white male, so that makes he could be okay. But he's probably a wrong 'un because he's still a guy. Okay, that's always bad. The proof, of course, he's a wrong 'un is that he doesn't fall on his knees and say, "Oh my God, Michael Burnham, you're the bestest ever. Thank God you're here to save us. Oh, thank goodness." Yeah, he doesn't do that. And I tell you, every time that doesn't happen, Burnham has this expression like, "What? How? Woo? What?" Like that expression on it, is very, very strange. So anyway, Burnham's like, we give suggestions about simple ways of working out what's wrong with these dying aliens. And the admiral's like, "Look, we've already thought of that. Leave me alone." And she's like, "What? But I'm the bestest ever." What? I'm not making it up. That's actually what happened, okay? That's actually what they decided to put in front of the camera for a weird reason. So the Federation is reduced to 38 planets, which I guess is about 10% of its pre-burn size. And then one thing I like, again, this episode had a lot of good stuff to it. When they're being debriefed initially by this admiral, there's this medical guy poking and prodding and looking at him, who you basically work out is a hologram after he shimmers a little bit. Right, and so that's in the best tradition of the Voyager's EMH. So yeah, I guess some of the people writing this stuff may have seen Voyager a couple of times, right? That's probably my guess. Yeah, oh yeah, that's the one with the woman captain. Yeah, that's probably what was going on here. So Starfleet wants to reassign the Discovery crew, refit Discovery. When do they refit Discovery? Are they talking about pulling out the spore drive? Let's get rid of that. No, I'm assuming they want to reverse engineer. I think. I mean, don't they have all the tech specs for it and just build more? Isn't that what's... I just don't understand why they can't do that. And given it's the only working interstellar ship, that exists anymore with groundbreaking technology, that would make a lot of sense. That they would want to try and work out what's going on, and it also makes a lot of sense that they would want to integrate this crew into the future, and having them all stay together would not do that. In Israel, we have this thing called Aliyah, which is we believe Israel. Jews believe Israel is their ancestral homeland. Well, we believe it because it is. It's there's overwhelming archaeological evidence. So we got this thing called the law of return. That if you're a Jew, you can return home to Israel, which means as things get dicey for Jews in different countries, we get influxes of Jews from different locations, which all have their own traditions. The most recent one was the French Jews, right? So when you have people from a foreign environment being placed into a new one, they tend to want to clump together and maintain their their languages and tradition, and not integrate in the best way. So the official policy is to try and scatter out these people as much as possible. So I think that's what's going on there as well. It makes a reasonable amount of sense that's what they would want to do, right? So given that they also need 1,000 years worth of re-education, you would have thought, listen, I understand. In terms of technology, they seem to have moved on maybe a few hundred years, not 1,000 years. But history, you're going to want to know a bit about the world. So again, that's maybe somewhere where they should start. So Burnham takes off her mentally ill head and puts on her soul sister head as well as she talks to Saru and trying to talk him into disobeying order. We're the bestest in the fleet. We stay here together, honey child. Oh, we're okay. So of course, she makes a flawless case, and the reason she makes a flawless case is because she gives a very one-sided argument without any nuance whatsoever. And it's a sort of argument that the idiot children that write this show, it's the only sort of argument they can think of. They have no ability whatsoever of looking at two sides of an argument, so they only ever present one side. So that's why she has a flawless argument, other than she's Michael Burnham. So then we get this bit where the crew's being debriefed, and they're not don't seem very cooperative. And there's a weird bit where Jojo, the Emperor from the Mirror universe, is being debriefed by two holograms and David Cronenberg, the famous movie director, which again, he's playing this kind of dodgy, evil looking white man. I guess you don't really need to say white man when I say dodgy, evil looking, or you don't need to say dodgy, evil looking when you say white man. That's going. That's actually again not bad. That whole bit, and it goes through a few scenes in the story. It's not bad at all, actually. We'll get to that, as it comes up. So again, Burnham had this very, very simplistic plan that anybody without a head injury could have worked out, right? Yeah, they need to go and find this Federation ship that's 5 months away because it's got this MacGuffin seeds in. They need to get to fix to cure these 3 aliens, which is so freakishly important. Okay, so they do. They have this like really, really simple plan to do that. And the Admiral's like, listen, I don't trust you to do anything. We'll take your crew off. We'll get a new crew on. I want them prepped and everything to go in like an hour. But of course, Burnham talks around, and Saru offers to stay behind as a hostage. Okay, basically a hostage to make sure that they don't run away. I don't understand what they're worried they're going to do, but okay. So now Burnham is in charge, but Burnham is always really in charge, isn't it? She's in charge of Discovery as they go on this mission. And this mission, we get this mission starts. It's all about this incredible moments of female empowerment. This show is fundamentally feminine. It's fundamentally feminine, and the way they both experience and overcome problems is very, very feminine there, which for me, it's just something I'm totally not interested in. And it doesn't make it a cringy episode, but it's just like, okay, I'm not really into feminine drama because I'm a boy, I don't really watch Grey's Anatomy or whatever. This Is Us or whatever. Well, all the stuff my wife and daughters watch because they're kind of girly shows. I prefer boyish shows with like zombies and robots and spaceships. But yeah, even if we put zombies and robots and spaceships into a feminine show, I'm just not that interested in it, even though my brain is a bit confused by it, which I think is basically where a lot of fandom is. So okay, so there's something weird about this ship that they find, which is a teeny tiny ship, and again, there's just all this like they overcome these problems. With all this like positive feminine support. You've got this girl, and oh god, I can't stand it. So anyway, and again, it's not bad if you're a girl, or if you're a feminine person, but I'm not. So it's just, again, not really getting me at all. So they rescue this teeny tiny ship from an iron storm. And there's something weird about the ship. There's a life size on it, but it's not clear, and they can't really work out what's going on. So there was a family of 4 crewing the ship: a mother, father, and two kids, in charge of the ship. So we have a away team of little Ricky Cruz, of not Beta Z, that security officer with the breathing apparatus, because the family is from her planet, and so it's set for her. This atmosphere set for her home world, as her and Burnham, of course, and I do like they wear these little like security harnesses with flashlights built into the shoulders. I thought that was actually pretty good. I like that. That's and if it wasn't a prequel show, it actually would have been a pretty good idea. But never mind. They figured, let's get rid of those in 5 years when we have Kirk and crew coming on the Enterprise. Fine. The David Cronenberg, Michelle Yeoh, JoJo interrogation I said earlier, pretty darn good. That's actually a pretty darn good scene in it, as we see 2 intelligent minds kind of like probe each other and dance with each other. I like that as well. And we actually get some we begin to get some genuine insight into JoJo, into the Emperor JoJo, Michelle Yeoh's character, which up until now I think has been a bit of a 2-dimensional cartoon cipher. And it basically comes out that this character, Michelle Yeoh, loves somebody on Discovery's crew. That's why she's there. So it must be Burnham that she loves. Well, she kind of like said that in the first season. But who could not love Burnham? Because Burnham is the bestest ever, as we're going to learn over and over again in the rest of this episode. So the mystery of the MacGuffin ship starts to unravel. They start to work it out. There's some kind of contagion infected the ship, killing his wife and children, but they got a thing that they put them in suspended animation. There's some kind of cultural thing that until they're buried, they're not dead. Or I don't know. I honestly, I kind of fell asleep over at this point, and I had to rewatch it later. I fell asleep for a long time, like 20 minutes. I was like, that's not a sign of a show that's like really riveting me. So they find the mother and the two kids in states like little Ricky, and the security officer finds the mother and the two children in stasis. They're already dead, while Burnham tries to get into the seed bank, which is where they got the MacGuffin they need to get. And inside there is a husband, but he's sort of like a hologram. He's beaming in, he's like appearing in and out of stuff, beaming stuff. But he's not a hologram. He's phasing, apparently. He's phasing, in and out reality. And of course, Burnham, who is wonderful at freaking everything, starts to work out immediately what's going on with him, so they communicate with him. So back on Discovery, one of the modern Starfleet officers comments when you have Stamets, Jean. What's her name again? I can't remember. The chief engineer and Tilly basically insulting each other, saying, you guys are pretty unprofessional. You guys are pretty unprofessional. What's going on with that? And she's absolutely right. So, of course, the stunning and brave crew of Discovery work out what's going on very quickly. While the Starfleet officer, from 1,000 years in the future, is left scratching her head, going, of course it's her head, because, you're not allowed to have men in the future, because men probably cause a burn. It was probably men. So there we go. So we really have another really big problem with Discovery. The problem I have with Discovery is there's just never any real jeopardy at all. They're all the bestest ever, and they're all going to solve everything by being the best ever, and they're never going to have any real things they need to overcome, right? It's just because they're the best ever. They are a ship of overachievers, after all. So he's right. They are completely unprofessional, led by somebody who has, I will say, quite some severe mental illness. Michael Burnham. I really do think she's got mental illness. But even the modern Starfleet officer has to admit that they're the bestest ever as they work everything out. The security officer from the planet tries to talk the guy with the seeds around after they beaming out and get him back into phase. But he's can't deal with life because his wife and kids are died and they're in it, so they can't. So he's in he's not really coming around. So then little Ricky tells Bird that she must be her to talk him around because you guessed it, she's the bestest ever and she'll be able to succeed when nobody else can. So basically she does. She talks him around by bluntly telling him that all the cultural things about death with his wife and family, that's all stupid, because you don't think like us, you're stupid. And again, we just have the arrogant worldview of the idiot children writing the show. It just shines through, that they find anything that's not them stupid. They just no, doesn't make any sense. Everything we think is so that's basically them. But Burnham then puts on a soul sister voice and wins through. You gotta help other people, honey child. I can't stand it. So he won't go back to Discovery with them. The doctor, this sea guy, won't go back to Discovery. He wants to stay with his family until they get buried, I think. And little Rick is like, well, we need to force him. He's going to die if we don't. We can't let him have free choice. And also, we need this ship. We need the whatever this ship. We can't let this ship go away. So the security officer, who's also from the planet, said, well, we can't force him. That's just wrong. And then Burnham steps in and says, yes, listen, I respect him, but not enough to listen to him. We're going to let him die, but I think we're going to take the ship because that's really important. Okay, I think that's what's happened, but honestly, who cares? I just really wasn't watching that closely because, oh God, I was just hoping for it to be over. So the security officer says she's going to stay with him. Once again, elucidating, anytime somebody doesn't agree completely with Burnham, she just looks like, huh? What? How? She does this shock, ooh, how could you? Because, darling, not everything you say is perfect. I know you're written that everything you do is perfect. That makes you kind of a boring character. So anyway, basically, the security officer is leaving Discovery to go back to the home planet with the seed guy, bury his wife and children with him, and get to see, her home planet again, right? According to their culture and all that stuff. So she gives Michael a bit of positive affirmation, which is discovery all over again. It was a nice bit of positive affirmation. And of course, she states the bleeding obvious, which Burnham is the bestest ever. And again, the show is just so feminine and with such feminine drama choices, which I'm just not that interested in. So as Discovery returns back to Starfleet, and Saru and Burnham quickly talk the Admiral into letting them stay together on the ship and not reverse the dog, trying to get the spore drive on every other Federation ship for some reason. I don't know. So the Doctor lovingly gives gives the dying aliens the cure that he came up for by being so stunning brave. He's looking at them like smiling, so so beautifully and beneficial. Like, I feel so much for you. Listen, if one of those aliens was wearing a Make America Great T-shirt, he'll be like, yeah, screw you, you're not getting the cure. Don't pretend that they're so loving of all peoples. They're loving of people who are like them, and they hate anybody that's disliked them, which again, for me, makes it the antithesis of Star Trek. So we have this weird thing about this song that Michael Burnham's noticed in various locations. Tal used to play it. They were playing it on the on the Seed ship, and they heard somewhere else. And if there's no interstellar travel, how did this song get around? And of course, Michael Burnham's noticed it. So it's the key to the burn. That's the key to the burn. At the end, we see Burnham sees Jojo in the corridor, who's all spaced out. He wants to ask him about the music, but Jojo's like in a different universe. She totally zoned out. And so it's pretty clear to me anyway that Michael Burnham is the person that she absolutely loves, which is why she's there. We end with Saru emotionally validating Burnham for being just the bestest ever, and then say, listen, could you try and keep your mouth in check so you don't destroy all our careers forever. So thank God she's asking Burnham and not what's the one from Lower Decks, Mariner, because she would not be able to keep her mouth in check. And there we go. We have another episode of Discovery. 8 more weeks to go. Oh, God. Oh, then another season. It's just never ending. It's just never ending. I've never really prayed for the collapse of Western civilization that much before until watching this. Like, really, if Western civilization collapses, we'll get no more Star Trek, no more Doctor Who, no more Star Wars. And I think we'll all be better for it. I do. I just do. That's just where I am. My name is Beck, and you're Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.